You're right.
wonderful experience. And even after I was fired, I still love these guys. I really want to also thank all of the Herb Institute staff, especially in the early years, who helped me get through this process. When I arrived in 1998, we only had 8 students. Is that about right? We had about 8 students, and the Herb Institute was just a dream in the eye of Ross and SNRE. So we really had to do some fairly radical things. But when I announced my retirement back in November of last year, 60 of the oldest alumni immediately emailed, telling me these great stories about how I had changed their lives and blah, 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 blah. And they admitted to their sins. Like one guy, Mark Tolkien, put so much wood in our barn fireplace that it burned up the entire fireplace system. And burned all the insulation and put toxic smoke in the party. It was just so great to relive these memories. But I want to thank Cindy Cleveland, Kelly McElhaney, Drew Horning, Dominique, Rick Bunch. What a great staff that we had then. And then obviously, our trick was making friends with Fred and Barbara Herb, and we miss them very dearly. And making friends with Dow Chemical and Holcim and the McGraw Foundation. So we got the endowment support, which has been tripled since then, or at least doubled. But that means that the Herb Institute is still in existence in the year in perpetuity. They can never, ever shut it down. Also, thanks to all their board members. And I couldn't get through all of my teaching without fantastic graduate student instructors like Sabrina Sullivan here, Mel Sosa of last year. I want to thank a lot of these third-year students because they saved Tom and I from this horrific task of writing the whole KPMG. And actually, that has turned out to be a bestseller in the KPMG series. So if you go to their website, they still keep advertising it and promoting it as their best strategic wisdom on how the future is to evolve. So we pulled off something pretty fantastic, even though I had a breakdown during the process. And then I sat down last night and I said, how many students have I taught since 1972? Rough estimate is 14,000. 14,000. That includes all the senior executives that I've done with the Prince of Wales program and so on. So if you have 14,000 students, you probably influenced a couple of them. Right, so the problem is pretty high that we did change the world with a few of them. Yeah. So, people have been asking me, what's your legacy? That's not for me to say. Only the future will know what that legacy is. But here are just a couple possibilities. As both Andy and Tom emphasized, radical positive deviance. It's really hard to go through my resume because I concluded that management theory was unsustainable, business schools were unsustainable, corporations were unsustainable, the Northern elite mind was unsustainable, advertising was unsustainable. Every article had the same theme. That everything in our current system was unsustainable. So it's very hard to maintain your sanity when you're writing like that, and it's very hard to get any respect in a business school. Andy gave me the opportunity of one of my last great articles to critique global capitalism as unsustainable, and he chose to end his big fat handbook for Oxford University on in environmental management with that critique. But that critique also found that professors of environmental management are unsustainable. Here's a couple of other things that you may not have heard. The year after I got here, we were convinced to hold a 14-week all-university lecture series